Hey guys, it's Spaces Sins, and we are back with more Virche Evermore, continuing Eve's route. We know these by now. You know what we're playing. You know better than I do what we're playing half the time, and you know where we are. So anyway, the grandfather clock tolled. The time had ticked past midnight, urging everyone to leave. Oh right, everyone came over and visited. I literally just recorded the other part yesterday and I forgot what the fuck was happening. Such is my brain. We didn't have space to have everyone stay the night at Karoon. So Mathis and the others quietly left one by one so that the residents wouldn't notice. Before I forget, Dr. Capucine heard what happened and prepared an herbal concoction for you two. He said that it has a relaxing effect. Perhaps you can take it after dinner time. I don't take it! It's drugs, guys! Danger! Danger! Don't do it! Thank you very much. I really am causing a lot of problems to everyone. In order to ease your worries, we'll need to solve the case and put an end to these rumors about you. Right. Lucas did his best to cheer me up before going back home. I looked around to find that Adolphe was the last remaining guest. Apparently, he needed to go on patrol again tonight, so after talking to me for a while, he went to leave for work. Ah, shoot! I forgot to ask Adolphe about the schedule for the next shift. Sorry, I'm gonna go after him. I'll be right back, so you just stay put here, okay? Okay. Be careful out in the dark, Eve. I quickly saw him off as he made a mad dash outside after Adolphe. Adolphe and Eve had been working around the clock because of the recent deaths. Is it really alright for me to just stay here like this? Eve told me he was glad I was here to cook every day, but... I mean, we were science sandwich dispensers, so I'm not really... Eve's really glad I'm here to cook for... wait. Oh, it's so funny. I could hardly stand just taking care of normal household chores and waiting for him to return safely. Conflicts caused by my being deaf seem to have fallen on Eve to shoulder. If I can't go outside, maybe there's another way I can help. There had to be. As I paced, wondering what I could do, I accidentally kicked something that was on the floor. It didn't take long for me to recognize it as a transmitter used by the Corps. This looks similar to the one Eve was using before, but the transmitter I borrowed from Eve is on the table, which meant Adolphe must have dropped his own transmitter. Give it to Eve, hold on to it. Ooh. I'm glad the answer isn't, hold on to it, run after them, because run after them would have been dead. Oh, you know what, though? If we give it to Eve, it's like, oh, hey, I found this. It was Adolphe's transmitter. You should give it to him. Okay, cool. Holding on to it is probably, because when she saw it on the floor, I was like, oh, God, don't put it on, because then you're going to hear their conversation or something. And even though it should work like a phone, it's not like fucking the walkie-talkie where it's just on. You know what I mean, walkie-talkie, you have to push the button, but, like, it's not like a permanently on thing, you know? So, but I feel like holding on to it, actually, holding on to it might be the smart idea. Because I was thinking holding on to it might be bad because then we're going to hear something we shouldn't hear. But then my brain went, no, actually hold on to it because you put it in your pocket. You're going to need that when Capucine fucking kidnaps you. So you can be like, oh my God, fucking help. Because he's not going to know you have one on you. So hold on to it is my guess. Give it to Eve is probably going to kill us. If there's a save point here, I don't know. Save file 2. I was like, I don't know. That seems like a death flag to me. Holy shit. Okay. Whoopsie. Where are we? That was the other one. Okay. Okay. So then I definitely think give it to Eve is the death flag because we're not going to have it when Capucine kidnaps us and then we're going to die. If we hold on to it, we have a way to call for help. Fuck yeah. Woo! Listen! We're about to drink the poison he gave us. The poison specifically to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison, that poison. Transmitters were very costly. Adolphe wasn't going to be able to do much without it. Then again, I shouldn't go out right after Eve told me to stay put inside. I'll talk to Eve about it when he gets back. I set Adolphe's transmitter down next to Eve so it wouldn't be forgotten. Oh, was giving it to Eve the running after them and getting kidnapped or killed? Because I assumed it was put it in my pocket and wait. It was late already, so I decided to get the bed ready for Eve to sleep in as soon as he returned. That was a banging noise. Suddenly, I heard a noise from outside. I turned around and looked at the entrance, wondering what it was. The door shook violently with awful sounds. What the? Maybe going after them was the better idea. Why did the game tell me to do this? It definitely wasn't just the wind. My mind told me to escape, so I grabbed the bowl with Puffy inside and moved to the back room. Aww! She saved the fish! Girl, grab a transmitter. I could hear people gathering outside. Snap out of it, Eve! You know Jess the one that killed all those people, and you're still gonna keep her here? If you want Karun to stay in business, dump her out in the street already! You know what's gonna happen if you refuse, right? We'll do more than just shut you out from buying our stuff. Ha! The damn softy won't understand a word we're saying. Times like these, we need to teach him a real lesson so he learns his place. My body moved before my mind understood what they were saying. All I knew was that the emotion coming from the other side of the door was hatred. No, pure, unadulterated malice. I held the fishbowl in my arms and shut my eyes tightly when suddenly I heard the crack of the fence that Eve put up to protect his beloved Lycoris Noirges. That sounded like glass. Like, why would you make a fence out of glass? I know it was supposed to probably be wood shattering, but it sounded like glass. Eve caught up to Adolphe and asked him about the next patrol shifts. Upon learning more, he couldn't help but feel guilty that the vast majority fell to Adolphe himself. I'm so sorry you're handling everything. I'm supposed to be deputy commander, too. And don't let it bother you. You're the one looking after my little sister. And that said, are things really okay around Cohen? Eve smiled and responded to Adolphe's vague question, saying that things were fine. I know it's strange for me to say, but I'm pretty resilient, you know. Everyone coming over to bring us those groceries was a really huge help. Let me know if you're at your limit. Hugo's worried about you, too. Well, he's putting on a tough front to keep the others from noticing. He's putting on a tough front, but he's crying alone at night because we stole his boyfriend. I see. I'm glad he doesn't hate me or anything. Now that there's some distance between us, I realize Hugo was really taking care of me. In the same way he thought it was natural to be with me, I felt it was natural to be with him too. See, this is so gay and I love it! Just natural for us to be together. It is! It's okay, guys! I'll leave. You two deserve each other. I just bring misfortune and you two should be happy. I'm not just destroying Eve, I'm ruining Hugo's future here. Of course, that doesn't mean that I regret protecting her. I keep forcing you and her to bear it all because I don't have the power to protect you two. What kind of leader am I that I can't help when it's needed most? You and Hugo are a lot more... Just as Eve was about to stop Adolphe from finishing his sentence... There you are, Adolphe! We got a prop! Oh, Eve, you're here too. Is there a problem that Eve is here? No, not that. Actually, it's about Eve. Eve, hurry back to Karun. Your house is in danger. It's more like, oh, you're here too. I read that so wrong. I'm like, I know I read that wrong, but like, whatever. It's still funny. Sacrifice myself. No, we do it. Somebody fell on those flowers and they all gonna die now. The presence of the hateful mob vanished after a few minutes. The house and the fence were vandalized. The garbage strewn across the entrance was infested with rats and dead insects. The door was kicked so many times that it was nearly caved in. Until now, Karun had been full of warmth and joy, but things had changed. I looked up at the house, sadly.
Spacey! Are you alright?
They'd probably heard what happened and came running as soon as possible. Upon seeing the aftermath, they were both still. Haroon, Eve's precious home. All my fault. Oh, Eve's so mad. He's like, how dare you? How dare you say it's your fault? I like it when he gets a little pissed. I like his little pissed face.
Why those?
They both understood immediately what happened. Eve embraced me to hide the sight from my view. Aww.
I'm sorry I left you alone. That must have been really scary.
I shook my head in response. I'm the one at fault. Why did they have to do this to your place, Eve? I overheard they were shutting you out from buying their goods. When I asked before, you said that things weren't any different from before. Even though I already knew the answer, I couldn't hold back from asking Eve with the hope that he might say otherwise. He never stepped outside the house, which prevented me from seeing the truth. The truth about Eve protecting Death. Eve knew he couldn't hide it any longer. Oh my god. Norton, stop. You're so annoying. It's because it's always popping up with things that's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, sure, do something about it. Well, then you have to pay us. Well, then go away and don't give me these fucking pop-ups. Like, I don't want to know. Like, I'm not paying you for additional services. Fuck off. So irritating. Anyway. Eve knew he couldn't hide it any longer.
This'll take some time to explain. So why don't we have some much-needed rest, and tomorrow we can talk over Dr. Capucine's herbal remedy. Right now, I can't say you're in the best condition for a long chat.
I nodded quietly in response. The next day... Oh, fuck. We're gonna drink that shit. Mathis and the others gathered again at Karoon. We explained to everyone what happened last night with the harassment from the other residents of Coen. I took a few sips of the medicinal drink as I heard from Eve and Adolphe about what was really happening to Karoon. Poor Eve, we're ruining his life. But he's happy about it? Whole game. They explained that Eve was seen as a possessed puppet of death because he kept me safe here under his protection. The people had been bad-mouthing him out on the streets, even refusing to serve him at the marsh. Because someone in the Corps had died, too, the other members apart from Adolphe were distancing themselves from Eve. Oh, even his friends are mean. Trust the Karoon had built in the community had vanished, and Eve was the new target of their hatred. What happened yesterday was done by a group of people who were upset that Eve wouldn't kick me out. It was safe to assume that the same thing would happen again. Here's the thing, if I were him, I'd be like, so you want me to kick her out, but you've been treating me like a douche. Like, you have been abusing my kindness. I was helping you. Now you're gonna shun me and be a bag of dicks to me, and you expect me to do shit for you like this? No. No. Fuck you. But Eve's too nice. He would, you know what I mean? Like, he wouldn't do shit like that, but that's like a normal response. Whoa! Yeah, if you were being nice and like considerate and like, God, come on, you know it's crazy, whatever, and you weren't resorting to violence, threats, and blackmail, you know, maybe I would understand your point. But if you're going to resort to all that, and then you're like, come on, kick her out, I'd be like, I'm going to kick your face in, motherfucker. But again, I'm normal, and we're not Eve, where we're like, no, why can't we all just get along? Hugs. Okay, I'm gonna need you to lay off whatever drugs you're on. Obviously, it's, you know. Like, I want everyone to love me. Right now, she's the closest thing I got, because you fuckers aren't doing it. You know what I mean? He's not doing the wrong thing, but... He hid what was happening, so I wouldn't be worried. He asked everyone to keep me from learning information about what was happening to him. Adolphe explained everything with an irritated expression.
Reliver technology, my ass. It's the people of this country who are rotten to the core. How are you more upset about this than me?
Because you're a doormat. You're a little labradoodle doormat. You're a labradormat. You're a labradoodle doormat. Labradoodle doormat. Labradoodle doormat. Yeah. You're a labradoodle doormat. Labradormat. Labradormat. Labradoodle. Magnadoodle song. I had a friend who did that to me like once, 100 fucking years ago. Back in the Magnadoodle days, it was like Labradoodle or whatever, and it stuck with me for 700 years. Anyway, but yes, that's you. You're a Labradoodle doormat. So yeah, whatever combination of those two words, however you want to conglomerate it, that's what he is. It's because you're not upset enough. Yeah. Jean calmed the two of them down. So the reason everyone came with those groceries...
Yes, is currently being denied service by the vendors at the marsh. So we brought them instead. But the people know we were involved in the Borough incident too, so we couldn't buy a whole lot. Trying to convince the masses now will only threaten our livelihood as well. We're truly sorry we cannot be of more help.
Please don't apologize. They were risking their lives because of me. Even Eve. He used to live a happy life, adored by everyone in Coen.
I admit this is quite the predicament. At this rate, we may have to shift focus away from our investigation. How about we go around Coen and ask them to stop harassing him?
How about we just threaten to beat them if they keep harassing him? Asking ain't gonna do anything. But I'm thinking, giving them a taste of their own medicine and kicking their fucking teeth in might get them to shut their fucking mouths. I do not have anger management issues. Yes, I do. These people piss me off and they all deserve the deaths that are coming to them. Not our little merry band over here. No, not our people. Hell! I'll even give a pass to Capucine. He is literal dumpster fire garbage. The worst kind. Not the kind we like. Okay? But even he is better than some of these motherfuckers. Which is saying something. It still baffles me how I can be like, all of you I mean, Capucine is awful. Do you know what just utter garbage he is? And again, not the good kind of garbage. He is just the worst. You fuckers are worse. That's astounding. You not see how astounding that is? Look. The man is completely fucked. But you guys are worse. And that blows my mind. Like, you know? Although, I mean, to the townspeople, they don't know that Capucine is a fucking monster. I don't think monster is the right term for him. That is, like, so underplaying. That is insulting to actual monsters. Like, you know, there is no word for just how kind of vile he is. But I think that's what makes him great, and that's why I love him a little, because it's like, God, you're awful! Good job, game. He's so hateable. And he's pretty, and but you hate him, and you want to light him on fire, and you're like, I don't know, I kind of enjoy it. Like, it's a good villain right here. The ones that you're like, God, you're awful. I enjoy how awful you are. This is great writing. Good times, you know? I didn't say it made sense, but but you get it. You're like, yeah, no, there's you might hate Capucine, to be fair. But there's a villain somewhere where you are like, they are literally the goddamn worst. But you can't help but love just how awful. You're like, I love them. They're great. Objectively awful. But, like, enjoyable character. I was like, good job. It's kind of how I felt when I was reading Harry Potter with Dolores Umbridge. Like, I have never wanted to leap into a book and punch someone in the face so hard. I was like, that is great. I love that. I don't like the I mean, I hate her. She's trash. But, like, brilliant. A brilliantly written trash character, because you were like, God, I want to leap into the pages of this book and punch this bitch in the face so fucking hard. God, she sucks, you know? And that's how I feel. You know, Capucine, you're like, damn, you suck so hard! Oh, but I can't help but love it, because it just, oh. Just so horrible. But the townspeople are worse. But see, you're so bad, I hate you. I hope you all literally choke to death on the blood that is coming up from your lungs from this curse. And I want to watch you suffer. This game makes you feel weird things, doesn't it? Anyway, I love it. And do you think those losers would actually listen to us? Again, if you kick their teeth in, they might.
But if we don't do something, the people might end up really harming her and Eve. And may I remind you that stepping outside to preach about their innocence is dangerous enough as it is, Master. Perhaps there are a few who understand. Assuming everyone's evil would be presumptuous.
Opinions were divided regarding my safety in the investigation. I mean, yes, I kind of agree with Lucas. There's probably some people who were like, oh my god, that girl, oh my god. And they just believe the rumors because that's what's going around and they're not actually thinking for themselves, herd mentality. So, like, you kind of suck. Think for yourself. But I get it. You're only hearing one side. So, like, what are you supposed to think? You know? And you can't it's like, it's the witch hunt thing. Like, you can't really blame people like, yeah, what they said, if I don't go along with what they said, then I'm going to be ostracized and burned at the stake. So, like, I don't necessarily think what they're saying is right, but, like, I got to protect my own ass. Like, you can't fault people for that. So, like, people who were like, yeah, that death girl is, crazy, huh? I'm just going to go over here and ignore and not, like, actually be involved in vilifying someone. And they're just like, yep, not in the like, I know that there's something to be said about people who just going with just that, like, agreeing with the masses is stupid, but herd mentality exists for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes you have to protect yourself, or you don't know any better because you don't have the information of both sides to go, okay, well, let me think about this. You know, you only have one side. Most of the town, most of the people here only have one side. They only know the facts that everyone's the facts, air quotes around that everyone's spreading around, that I'm a menace. And it's like, well, yeah, there's nothing coming up on the other side to say that she's not. So, you know, I mean, yes, Eve vouched for her and everything, so I guess we were okay. And then all this started happening again, so it's right back to the original, you know. So the evidence is stacked against me, even though it's kind of made up and perpetuated by lies. But still, you know, can't blame everyone. They still suck. But, you know, it's kind of like Milo. You suck, Milo! Then Milo's starting to think for himself, and it's like, all right, kid, you're not so bad. All right, okay, fine. Fine, I'll give you a pass. But, like, you know, there's going to be other adult people like Milo who are like, yeah, she sucks. Well, does she, though? I mean, like, yeah, what everyone else said. And because they don't know any better. And you're like, all right, I can forgive you because you're just standing in the crowd like, yeah, what are we doing here? Like, but it's the people that are really, like, vocal about it instead of just, I'm just going to avoid her. Or vocal about it, purposely attacking Eve, blocking him from buying groceries and all that shit. Those people, you all suck, which is a majority of them, okay? Probably a handful of people that are okay, but a majority of them suck and deserve to suffer. Let's be real. Lucas probably thinks there's more than just a handful, but I'm going to give you a handful, sweetie. That's all you get. Oh, opinions were divided regarding my safety in the investigation. Eve, who was the primary target now, thought for a moment before speaking. I can't wait till he snaps and literally starts mowing people down. It's gonna be fun.
Okay, I'm gonna go visit the victims' families and gather information about those they've lost.
He spoke with conviction. Huh? Eve? What the hell are you saying? And do you really understand the situation you're in? I mean, he's a little stupid, so no. Everyone was doubting Eve's sanity as he intended not to prove his innocence, but further investigate the case. As a teacher, I cannot allow that. It's far too dangerous. Your neighbors have become such a threat. Imagine how much worse the families who detest her will be.
They'll blame you for everything.
That alone would be nothing compared to the real possibility that they might kill you.
But staying inside isn't gonna make any progress. Besides, didn't we talk about this before? We need to gather new information before Cyan, the Institute, and the Royal Guard. The only real way to do that is to get out there and talk to people.
Contacting the families of the victims was sure to fail since they wouldn't want to meet. But if he appeared in front of them without warning, they'd probably confront him and vent, especially those who were still grieving. Which also meant there was a good chance they'd disclose information that would otherwise never be discussed. Okay, he's not as dumb as he acts. Not as dumb as he looks. Oh, poor Eve. He doesn't look that dumb. He's not quite the himbo. On the border, though, because, he just acts like an idiot sometimes. But it's really just, I just want everyone to love me. Deep down inside, I'm manipulating everyone into loving me. Eve explained very calmly and in a tone that suggested he'd already thought about this at length. His straightforward demeanor kept everyone from saying anything to the contrary. All except for one person. Me? Eve, I can't have you do something so dangerous by yourself. I'm the source of the problem, so I'll do it. I voiced my disagreement with resolve.
Not a chance. If something happens to you...
I could say the same to you. Oh, clever squirrel. I don't want to harm you or ruin your life anymore. I'm already prepared to suffer the hatred of the bereaved families.
Well, that's why I'm saying that I'll go and talk to them to prove your innocence.
I'm gonna go. I don't want anything to happen to you. Yeah, well, I don't want anything to happen to you. It's kind of the most adorable argument. And she's all outraged, he's all pissed, and everyone else is standing there like... They're literally just arguing over which one likes the other one more, right? Yeah, that's what's happening. They both stared at each other, refusing to give in. This is so cute, though. We continued arguing for another 10 minutes or so, until finally, Eve backed off since I wouldn't give up. We came to the conclusion that I'd go with him to the families of the victims on the condition that I'd stay at his side. I mean, that's definitely going to make them angrier seeing both of you. That works. Being sped up from that point onward, you had to know that outcome was that was going to be the outcome. You know what I mean? We'd go together. As soon as the sun was about to set, we got into the car and drove through the alleys toward our destination. Night was finally upon us. We made sure that everyone was staying inside their homes, which they did anyway out of fear of being the next victims.
Are you ready?
Yes. With Eve's help, I got out of the back seat of the car and walked with him to a certain area of the district. Adolphe and Mathis were standing by in a nearby alley so they could come and assist if needed. It was so quiet that each footstep could be heard clearly. As promised, I stayed right next to Eve and... It's Death! The Death Girl is here to kill us! I'm not wearing my cloak today. A couple of men yelled out of their windows. Immediately, a hostile crowd began to gather around us. You damn murderer! I think it's funny that they come out. If I was gonna kill you, I'd definitely kill you. Wait, that doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean? Like, if I were going to kill you and I had that power, I think you'd be dead by now, because you're a twat and you suck. And this is why I don't get any cool powers, because I'd be like, really? Bring it, bro! Snap my finger and he's dead. I'd be like, yeah! Fuck all y'all! Dead. And your little dogs, too! Well, not your dogs. Your dogs did nothing wrong, and I wouldn't do that, but, it's just... But they might leave me alone if I threaten their... I don't even like doing... I don't even like that. It was the Wicked Witch of the West, so I was just using that line, and now I feel icky. Poor little dogs did nothing. But these assholes, dead. Oh, and when you come back as a reliver, dead again. I'm gonna keep fucking doing it. I'm gonna wait outside the Institute, and as soon as you walk out, gone! I'm just saying, I don't think I would ever be the heroine of an Otome game. I would absolutely be a villain because these people piss me off. I don't think anyone can blame me for like literally taking all these fuckers out though. Like, thinking it was like, no, they're just misunderstood. No, they suck. They suck, and that's why this land is cursed. It's not me, it's them. You know? Just saying. Anyway. Pretend to be human all you want. You're not fooling us. Do you know how many have died because of you? Eve, why in the world are you protecting her? You know that she'll curse you to death if you stay with her, right? Calm down, everyone. You need to watch what you're saying, or... Shut up! Are you one of Death's puppets, too? She's like, watch what you're saying, or she'll curse us. And the guy got all out of hand. I was like, you know, prostitute D over here, not too bad. She was like, should be careful, she might curse us. Hey, but at least she, you know, I'll take it. My shoulder went tense at the palpable rage I could feel around me. The Corps was divided in more ways than one. The Institute was also too busy gathering the corpses and creating relivers to have time for much else. That meant there was no one to control this unruly crowd. Finally, their hatred manifested as violence. Eve! Blood dripped from Eve's forehead. A rock fell to his feet with red on one side. Despite that, Eve didn't back away, but instead tugged me closer to him before speaking up.
I'm sorry, but I didn't come here to argue about what's been happening. I came to see if anyone knows of another reason besides her presence that could have caused the deaths. Please, I want to talk to someone who might know something else about the victims.
He asked with greater conviction, knowing the worst was yet to come. After everything that's happened, you're actually telling us it's not her fault? They angrily threw more stones. Some were throwing shards of glass as well. Eve's face and body gradually turned red with blood. Rip off your mask and then they will all scatter. Just saying, use the powers that the fire that I may or may not have accidentally started by just being a jinx cost. Saying. Please stop! Eve didn't do anything wrong. I'm the one who should...
Be quiet.
Eve stopped me mid-sentence as he continued to protect me from the mob's hostility. He didn't let out even a single groan of pain, concentrating all his strength on listening. Through the anger and the hatred, heard, my younger brother was about to get married, and you just had to kill him and his future wife. My daughter finally found such a wonderful man after so long. Eve put his arm firmly around my shoulders. He began to walk into the crowd. We slowly made our way through until we reached the two who had known the victims personally. Eve's eyes were full of determination. He took another strong step forward as though he didn't feel any pain. Notice that it was like they finally found someone, not that they'd been a couple. It's like they were new couples. His unusual demeanor made the others stop throwing objects at us, and they slowly parted to let us through. The yelling settled down into murmurs. Yeah, because... What is he... Why is he walking? Are we... Did we do something? Shouldn't you want our way when we throw rocks? Why is he walking toward... I'm confused. We confused them. In the midst of the confusion, we finally ended up in front of the man and the woman. Excuse me. I began to speak in a careful manner. What? You're not getting away with what you've done? How dare you kill my younger brother and his fiancée? What did they ever do to you? Of course they didn't want to hear any excuses from Death. The man fearfully drew out a knife and pointed it at me and Eve. The crowd slowly regained their courage and began to show movement again, not wanting to be the next victims.
What did you say earlier?
Huh?
About the victims. I'm sorry for asking you to remember something so painful, but can you please tell me what happened with them before they died?
His serious voice seemed to ring through the air and subdue the crowd. All the sound around us vanished and was replaced by silence. The man with the knife was probably taken aback by Eve's stare. He slowly began to speak. Happened? Oh, victim's family A is the man. I don't know, I thought it was the woman. Okay, it doesn't matter. Well, interesting. After seeing you two together, Victim's Family A is just going to be the lady voice, because that's what I gave it, and B was the dude, so whatever. My younger brother and his girlfriend decided to get married. They were talking about having a wedding reception, but before they could, that girl next to you killed them. My daughter, too. She got a confession from someone she had feelings for.
So they weren't individuals, but couples in love with each other.
Wait. Eve's words sparked a thought into my mind. Huh? My friend died with the girl he liked after they got together. My younger sister and her lover, too. My brother, too, the night before his wedding. The crowd around us began to murmur, this time from the discovery of a common link among the victims. At the sight of everyone around us, Eve and I looked at each other and nodded. I mean, that confirms our theory, but I don't know what it tells us. We used the opportunity and ran into an alley to escape from the confused crowd. There, we jumped into the car that Mathis had ready and quickly headed back to Karoon. And we don't have to worry if anybody tries to stop the car because Mathis will just run them the fuck over, so. The information we needed to share now was about the commonalities we found among the victims. Which we already knew, they were couples. But they're newly together couples. But you know what? That does make sense a little bit more. Okay. We already knew that. We knew they were couples. Now they're newly together couples, right? But here's the thing. We know that science reliver technology, no emotions, you could not love the person that you were in love with after, whatever. But we know, from science route, when that shadow figure went to Simon and was like, oh, look, lung capacity, whatever. And then that's, whatever. And then he started having the lung problems or whatever. So the person who's creating these back alley relivers basically is probably doing this we could, increased emotional capacity. Because was it the lung thing or was it the emotion thing that was a selling point? I forget what it was. It was, I think I'm just getting lungs confused with the fact that they're trying to claw out their lungs because it's a problem with the lungs that they tried to pin on Cyan or whatever. But I forget what the selling point was from the shadow figure that popped up to Simon and was like, hey, here you go. But they went to him, obviously, because Cyan had blocked him from ever becoming a reliver through the Institute, right? But if they're selling it to people like, oh, yeah, no, we have secret back alley reliver technology where, you won't lose your emotions because hi, that's what Dahut's been working on. So that ties back into Cyan's story. And again, you had to do that before you could get to Eve's route, so you would know this by now, that someone on Dahut's team could have stolen his research, sold it, it might not be Capucine that's doing this. Somebody else, hi, we already know there's at least 2 other people, aside from the Institute, that have old reliver technology machines that were decommissioned, that they're using, and they're doing this, and whatever, okay? We know Jean's got one, we know Capucine's got one, who the fuck knows who else, because there's literally really lax security at the Institute, okay? Jesus. Cyan, you gotta hire better people. I mean, it's not really your job, but you're the director. I think you should, do something. Jesus, buddy. I love you, but girl, God, you're a little dumb. You are lazy. But you know what I mean? So who the hell else knows somebody else could have it that's not tied to Capucine or Jean, but I'm just... Capucine, out of the 2 of them, would be the most likely one to do it, because Jean's all invested in himself, not trying to make money and making other relivers. Capucine absolutely might be doing it to fund the hospital and his own research and whatever, but could be a third party. Anyway, whoever's doing it is probably selling it could have stolen Dahut's research, could have been given to them by someone who stole it from him. I don't want to go, Dahut's involved in some black market fucking relivers, because I just want to have faith in him, okay? He turned out to still be a good boy at the end of Cyan's route, even though, technically he took over Cyan's job and he fell, but it's but you were still friends, and, I can't really blame you for the circumstances and being a little selfish in that with, there's nothing I can do, the royal family kicked him out. I know he wasn't involved. I don't want the royal family kicking me out, and now I can actually work on my research, so you know what, it's not too bad. You know what I mean? Like, you can't blame him for that. He still had faith in Cyan, you know what I mean? Like, and then he felt so bad he left, and it's like, he could be hiding that he's, like, sold his research to someone else or whatever. I would think, to me, I want to have more faith in him, and I want to be like, someone on his team stole his research and it's like sold it to someone else, or they're doing it to try to make it so that when a reliver it works and they're not dying. And they were probably like, oh, see, these people are like, we made them relivers, they're in love, awesome. And then they all died with the suicide thing. They're like, yeah, fuck. But they're still doing it because they're still trying to perfect Dahut's research so that when it works, they can go, it fucking works. So fuck you, Cyan. You know what I mean? And they're doing back alley shit. So I kind of feel like, yeah. Because that's the key right here, is that they were relivers, but they were in love. And that's not something, I mean, okay. Obviously, Hugo loves Eve. Like, but you know that your emotions that you're developing now when you come back as a reliver might not carry over the next time you reboot. You know what I mean? It's not that you have no emotions like Cyan. It's the fact that you, like, you can develop emotions, but they're not carrying over. So who you love right now, if you're a normal human, when you become a reliver, you might not be in love with that person. Or, hey, you fall in love as a reliver with another reliver. When you become a reliver 2.0, you might not be in love with, you know what I mean? So anyway. But, I don't know.
I know it's only an assumption, but I think I have an idea what triggers the deaths. I think it has to do with relivers in some sort of romantic relationships.
Or they're carving out their hearts because, is that where you're going to get to? Like, oh, well, yeah, no, that would tie back into the Dahut's research. Like, oh my god, you're falling in love, but your body can't handle that excess emotion, and it's, you know, and and it's like causing some kind of like breakdown, and that's why they're clawing their hearts out and shit. The lung thing was, because they are stabbing themselves in the heart. The lung thing was more in Cyan's route, but I thought it was tied to the fake relivers. I feel like it's the same person who's doing them, whatever. Anyway. Everyone looked surprised at the revelation while I tended to his wounds. I see, which is why they were always in pairs. Mutilations 3. Commonalities found among the victims include being found in a male-female pair, as well as having romantic feelings for someone in their life.
So it wasn't that they were found together by chance. They were actually with someone they were very close to.
I assume something else must have happened during those encounters. Gouged chest, relivers, love. All of them pointed to a single point of interest.
The unique memory feature of a reliver's heart controls their emotions, preventing love from carrying over into their new lives. Considering that their chests were gouged out, it's very likely that their emotions play a key role in their strange deaths.
Because someone's doing experiments. Stolen experiments, perhaps? In other words, so relivers die when they feel love and enter into a relationship?
Who knows? If that were true, a terminal bug like that would already be well known.
Then there must be some other condition that triggers the deaths. I wonder what Cyan's thought process about it is, as the creator of the technology.
Well, I doubt we can find out anytime soon.
Eve wobbled a bit, then slowly leaned against my shoulder. Is there a problem, Eve?
Sorry. It's just that I've been dizzy this whole time.
Huh? I'm not surprised, considering you were hit on the head so many times with those rocks. You should have said so sooner.
Well, you know me. Even if I want to say something, I don't always know how.
I'm dizzy, that's how.
Well, we obtained some invaluable information, so considering Eve's condition, might I suggest we disband for the day?
True. Eve, you should really get some rest.
Spacey, would you kindly look after him?
Yes, let me see you off first. There was nothing else that could be done for now. Eve nodded weakly in agreement and slowly went to get changed. I usually slept on a cot that could be easily disassembled, which I borrowed from Adolphe. It was set up slightly away from Eve's bed. Oh, we can hold hands, though. He told me at the beginning that I could choose where I wanted to sleep. Being too close would have made me nervous, and being too far would have been lonely. So I chose a comfortable distance in between. We can hold hands, but at arm's length. But no matter where I was in the house, even the slightest rustle frightened me. The sound of the wind rattling the window gave me a sudden start.
If you're scared, why don't you sleep in my bed with me?
Woo! I know we're just gonna cuddle, but I am okay with that. Woo! It's getting hot in here. My AC is on. But like, girl, I need to turn it down a little. Woo! Listen, pretty fucking easy. Eva just tucked himself in, but he was now reaching out to me with his gentle voice. Please don't tease me at a time like this.
I'm not teasing you. I'm dead serious. See?
What? Before I knew it, he had taken me by the hand and pulled me into his bed. Oh. I know, I'm reading that phrase. I know that's not what you mean by that phrase, but like, I mean literally, but also, pulled me into his bed. Oh. We're only gonna cuddle. But still, I can't help reading into it a little bit. I looked in surprise to find Eve's beautiful face right in front of me. Eve,
Like I said, I'm not teasing. I'll be able to sleep better too if someone nice and warm's next to me.
stop it, sir.
If you're really worried about me, can you stay here with me, please? Or not?
There was no way I could escape after seeing him look at me with his beautiful eyes. He was really good at being sweet. I was sure he was only acting this way because he saw how scared I was, but the kinder he was, the more my heart was filled with guilt. Which was why I had to ask, Eve, tell me, why are you still so kind to me, even after I've torn apart your life? I simply couldn't hold back anymore. Please goddamn kiss me. This would be the perfect time for you to kiss me so that I'm like, wait. Not only did I cause the burn on your face, I also took away the happy, peaceful life you worked so hard for. So why? Why aren't you chasing me away? Why are you protecting me like this? I have no right to be protected by you. Silence filled the air. Eve's eyes narrowed with sadness.
I guess because of loneliness.
Huh? Gently held my hand under the sheets.
I have a whole lot of things I want to do with you here. I want to take on as many orders as possible and show everyone how wonderful you are.
I'm like, there's a whole lot of things I want to do with you here. Here, just general here, or here, like, in bed? Because, like, sir, you gotta be careful with your phrasing. He means in general, but I was like, oh, I know that the game is not thinking what I'm thinking. But it knows damn well that what I was going to be thinking when it said that. It's like, not what you think, you pervert. But you knew. You knew what you were doing, game. You whore.
One day, I'll learn how to cook just as well as you do. When that day comes, I'll make us some lunch and we can enjoy a picnic at the licorice field. But if I lose you, all that I've wanted for us will disappear. This is strange.
Like, the Satan keeps changing and it's going to different backgrounds, but I want a CG and I want you to kiss me, goddammit.
Human or not, death or not, it's clear to me that you're struggling hard to live a good life. That means you're no different from any other person. Someone that I can love. No matter who may hate you, I can say without a doubt that I love you. I told you that I'd love you no matter what, but instead of giving you my love, I'm only thinking about the love I can get from you.
Hearing those words, maybe we should just kiss him, filled my heart with joy. I didn't know what kind of emotion drove Eve to say that. He was so kind and loved others so selflessly that he actually worried me. Yet, treated me like someone special. But I want to take anything special from him anymore. As if he knew what I was thinking, he gripped my hand more tightly.
So please, I don't want you to feel bad about yourself and leave. I promise I'll prove to everyone you're a normal human girl.
This was so unfair. There was no way I could refuse him with his expression and gentle voice. What if, hypothetically speaking, he nodded and waited for me to continue. Like you said, Eve, if one day I'm able to say with confidence that I'm a normal girl, I want to repay you and Hugo 100-fold for all the happiness you've given me. I know it sounds strange to have a favor returned to you by death, but that day comes. Will you accept it?
Wholeheartedly. I can't wait.
Eve's gentle hand under the sheets pulled me closer to him, and I complied. Sleeping with his warmth beside me was so comfortable that it was scary. Oh! I was afraid of the sun setting. I resented the sun rising in the sky. If only time could stop. I could only imagine how happy I'd be if I could spend the rest of my life with Eve and the others. And a new day would come, and it would take even more from Eve's life. I hated myself for being the reason why. Dear God, if it turned out that I was the evil behind this, I would accept any punishment. So please, return his life to the way it was. Please, he's done nothing wrong. He even loved the flowers of misfortune. He was simply too kind. Ugh! We're just gonna leave it? No cuddling? Well, you know we were cuddling. Oh, we're sighing now. Okay, you can't do this to me, game. Like, oh, look, you're sleeping in bed with Eve. You're just gonna, snuggle and be warm together. Oh, my heart. And then, oh, here's sighing. God damn it, I'm dead now. You can't do this to me. Oh, my God, I got chest pains.
A life that repeated every 23 years in the same form. There were only 3 people in this world who found fault in my flawless reasoning. I met and parted with each of those 3 in the field of Lycoris Noirs.
Staying.
Among them was a certain married couple I met in the field at midday.
You ruthless, selfish, arrogant god! Not understanding human emotion makes you the saddest, most pathetic existence of all. I'm sure you'll never understand this comforting, heart-wrenching pain. Poor thing. Yes, poor thing. Did Cyan murder our parents? So poor are you that we'd exchange our lives so that you're cursed to never know this feeling forever.
And the couple pitied me, and they chose the path of oblivion so that they could prove the strength of what I detested.
Yeah, but we changed that. He was like, boop, boop, boop. It took me 2 minutes to make a heart so that I could love. And then I died so that he couldn't feel. I mean, I love it. Science not like, yeah, no, I could absolutely fucking do it, but I just don't see the reason. He basically proved it's not like it's hard, it's either this or this. He's like, no, I can do it. He easily fucking did it. Easily. But so that is just the funny part. He really does act like a god, doesn't he?
And the other one I met at the Lycoris field at dusk. He came from a bloodline bound to a noble mission.
I cannot help with your research anymore. Cyan Brophies, if you don't plan on changing your mindset, you might as well prepare yourself now. What our friend said is true. You ever harm the incarnation of the Lycoris despite the eternal friendship we vowed, someone will appear from our bloodline to deny your beliefs outright. The eve of your undoing, your role as a god will meet its end. Your downfall will drag you to the mortal realm. Eve's grandpa? I'm just saying we're in Eve's route.
A dream. Why am I remembering such a useless memory now? I awoke to find dark red blood dripping from my stained lab coat. I waved away the blood with annoyance. Around me were the freshly delivered bodies. I dissected and autopsied 24 of them since the new crop of deaths. Looks like this was tampered with, too. Who would dare try to deceive me?
Cyan! I brought you some fresh lab coats and scalpels. Ew, yuck! Look at all the blood. Cyan, aren't you sick of being covered in all that?
I expect to get dirty if I'm dissecting the newly dead. I'll compile the autopsy results later. Share the data with our staff.
Got it. Nothing special to report, right? Heh, I feel a bit closer to you now. There are still things about the human anatomy even you don't understand.
Why would I go to the trouble of establishing the Institute if the curse was fully understood? Todd nodded in agreement and set down the clean lab coats and scalpels on the workbench. How's Karoon doing?
As you expected, it seems they're no longer welcome by the people of Coen.
Considering the shared mentality of those living in Arpachel, that was easy enough to predict.
The music in the background is like fucking intense.
I can only shake my head and select a scalpel to use. But Dahut, with his usual childish attitude, was dissatisfied by the idea that someone he knew could be treated unfairly.
It's so funny because, like, my volume is... That is just... The music is just bumping. Like, it just got intense for no fucking reason. Weird. Huh.
Cyan, can't you make an announcement that these deaths aren't her fault?
I won't announce what can't be proven. In any case, it doesn't matter whether she's punished or not.
Huh?
How could he not understand? She's a necessary scapegoat to preoccupy the minds of unhappy citizens. Sacrifices like her will always exist. Humans are always seeking a target for blame, whether innocent or not. It feeds their miserable souls.
You're saying she's a necessary evil?
Even if I defended her this time, the people will be quick to blame her again for the next incident that occurred. He understood that, which is why Karoon announced that he would disprove her abilities as death.
But isn't that like trying to prove that ghosts don't exist? Do you really think Eve can prove something so uncertain to begin with? On top of everything else, she's being suspected of cursing her parents to death before she was even born.
Hearing Dahut's mumbling made my hand stop, just as I was about to pick up a scalpel. Killed her parents before she was born. Explain.
Ah, shoot. It was supposed to be a secret. I'm sorry, but I really have to go.
Before he left, I grabbed Dahut by the neck. I wonder who was responsible for delaying communication to my guards.
So you knew? I'm so sorry. I'll confess everything, so please don't cut my vacation time.
I love that so much. I love Doug. He's so adorable. Anyway, we're gonna stop here because I don't know if this is gonna be like a minute or two. It could be 5. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.